Welcome. What if I told you that Genesis 4 verse 7 contains a universal truth or universal truths that are so devastating, ignoring it doomed Cain and is dooming you right now? This isn't about rules, it's about the fabric of reality unraveled. Your silent complicity is just the same like what the billions ignore, the major lessons and the miss in the story of Cain the murderer. This is not a story, it's a revelation. You were never just choosing between right and wrong. You were collapsing waveforms. You were shaping reality with every thought. Cain's ancient struggle isn't a myth. It's your moment-to-moment battle. Evil isn't out there. It crouches at the threshold of your will. This is the true war. Not between gods, not in temples, but inside the field of your own consciousness. What if you could reprogram your understanding of sin, choice, and reality itself? What if Maat and his fate were not beliefs, but energetic forces, which you can learn to balance? Yes, enroll now in the Bantu Melanin University, train in the sacred science of conscious alignment, master ancient techniques of ritual, breath, and stillness, so that you can reclaim your power as a field navigator, a human being designed to collapse chaos into order, or reverse willingly. Apply today, enroll today, and begin the ritual. Become the observer. Evil doesn't wait, but neither does awakening. You can enroll and begin the ritual to become the observer, where you continue to observe and learn many universal truths. The universe responds to your desire consistently as you build reality. You always build reality. The universal truth is a statement or a principle that is considered to be true at all times. Not all universal truths are first principles. Let's look first at what is sin, because this definition is very, very critical in our explanation of Genesis 4 verse 7, which has been misunderstood by almost everyone who believes and follows the Bible. Therefore, sin is when one's actions, whether conscious, deliberate, intentional, or unwitting, disrupts the fundamental equilibrium between Maati and his fate. This disruption manifests across diverse planes or dimensions. The new dimensions, the divine, the nature, the ancestral realm, communal, and social structures. And it always almost starts within the individual self. So, when we understand this, we realize that the story of Cain and Abel has a profound universal truth that predates it. The truth is the uncreated truth, which is actually a universal truth about the origin and nature of sin and evil that resonates deeply with the concept of the waters of Nyunyu. Here is why Genesis 4:7 is a very powerful verse, but it was copied from Afro-Isinto-Maatic Isfet, and how to balance the equilibrium, and deliberately this verse hides the origins of evil. One of the scholars in Jewish philosophy and religion, Moses Cordovero, said the following. He said, one must remove the garments from the Torah to comprehend her depth. He was referring to the sources, the grammatical, cultural, mystical sources of the text that you call the Torah today. So let's read Bereshit 4:7, Genesis 4:7 in Hebrew. Halo im tetib es eta wa eheloim tetib lapeta atat robes wa elieka tasuko kato we ata timsali bou. Now this is saying, if thou doest well, you shall be lifted up, and if thou dost not do well, sin croucheth at the door, and unto thee is its desire, but thou mayest rule over it. What is sin? It is the deliberate, conscious, intentional or unintentional, unwitting disruption of the fundamental equilibrium between Maati and he is fed. This disruption manifests across diverse planes, but it starts from within and goes from the external. Now, the Torah borrowed from the instructions of Amenhotep and Amenmope, who teaches self-mastery, and also the book of Coming Forth by Day, Parutemahore, which deals with the judgment of our deeds with ethical motives and thought, and then dialectically adopted those concepts like cosmic balance, but then centered everything on its deity Yahweh. So when you reevaluate Genesis 4:7, you, through the lens of our ancient ancestral understanding, you realize that it deals with willpower. And when the Torah borrowed, this Genesis borrowed and wrote this verse, for instance, rovetzi means crouching as predatory stance. The Hebrew word rovetzi implies a predator coiled, waiting to spring like a lion or a snake. Yet in the origin, where it came from, before this reduction, sin or Isvet isn't sleeping at the door. It is always attacking. It's a quantum wave, exploiting strength and weaknesses within you. Therefore, it demands that you yourself must be active and be vigilant and on the defensive always, without time to relax. The word timsho, you must rule over it, or you must master it, is an imperative of will. Your will, not faith. It doesn't require faith. It wants your will, so that you must rule or dominate or master or exercise dominion over sin. That's the wave we are talking about. We are not talking of the lion as given in the words that you find in the Torah. This is pure unadulterated willpower. It's the conscious exertion of the human spirit to command the chaotic force that are seeking entry into you. So you have to defeat the God is fed, and you do it through will and assisted by expression rituals. That's what we are taught. So you have to look at this from a conceptual perspective on the origin of evil, on the cosmic structure, on divine agency, as well as your human role. The uncreated truth, which is our framework, teaches that Isfet is entropy. If unchecked, it imbalances you, and Isfet is not a satanic force. It's more powerful than the satanic force. So when you reread Genesis 4:7 through Hamid, you understand that Hatat, sin, they are localizing Isfet and amplifying it at a portal level, at a human portal level, which is reversing the whole equation, because you have to look at it from a cosmic structure where you, the primordial field, Ma'at Isfet, which are balanced, are nodes, not doors, but nodes in the cosmic portal, or a quantum threshold of choice and observation. This is when divine agents, that is renewed by the divine spark, reduces and removes the anthropomorphic rulers that you think of as God, Satan, and the devil. No devil, no God, nothing. But it's your will against the entropic potential, which you consciously must resonate and sustain Ma'atic coherence, not decoherence, or collapsing the Ma'atic wave. So we need to resolve the Abrahamic distortions. The post-Abrahamic traditions fossilized our Hamitic dynamic interplay into rigid dualism, where set or shatter versus apophis, set or Isfet or Ma'ati became personalized. Whereas these are forces that operate at a quantum core, at our mental level. That's the basis, the interconnection at the mental level. So when in Genesis 4 it says that Yahweh says the sin crouches at the door, it's not robust, it's not a snake coiled ready to strike. It is Isfet trying to entangle you through your consciousness. Therefore, if you don't have moral effort, you are out of frequency alignment. You need to tune your will to Ma'atis resonance through willpower as a quantum observership that we have. So the key lies in understanding that you have to collapse the wave toward matic coherence. And you can only do that on a quantum model by understanding that the door is a quantum portal and it mimics the threshold where your consciousness is interfacing with the waters of Nyunyu. And you can do that through African spiritual practices. Many of them, and totemic understanding, animistic understanding, and the many activities. So when they teach you that it's crouching as a snake, it's actually is fed with entropy. And the probability waves of disorder are amplified by your ignorance and unawareness, and not knowing that intent can balance and unbalance mahatic force through your willpower, not faith. So the emphasis on faith promotes ignorance. But if you do not do what is right, sin is crouching at your door. It desires to have you, but you must rule over it. This is not theology, but it's theology now, if you understand it under the Abrahamic ignorance and the faith. The door that is spoken of here, Petach, is your locus of observership. Where are you when these events are occurring? Because you have to understand that you are interfacing with the Nyunyu's potential and your awareness. Crouching Roveti is entropic probability seeking amplification. So that thought wants to be amplified. Then you must master it as the observer effect directly towards balance and push it towards negativity and remove it. We are not merely in the field. We are the field awakening. Every act of perception, intention, or will collapses Nyunyu's infinite potential into manifest reality. Ma'ati and Isfet are not laws necessarily imposed upon us. They are the wave forms amplified or dampened by our conscious focus. So why has humanity forgotten this power? Through Abrahamic religion and the Western materialism that severed this truth by externalizing divinity, made Neteru into gods out there, not resonance nodes within our own field, demonizing chaos, framing it as set apophis or as evil, yet it's a continuum, and desacralizing perception, reducing sin to a moral failure, ignoring its role as an unconscious wave collapse that is pushing you towards Isfet. So human consciousness is Nyunyu self-collapsing mechanism. We stand daily at the threshold, Petach, of all possibilities. Every choice, every thought, every act of who resonates across the field. To master sin is to wield our observership wisely, collapsing Isfet's entropic waves into mahatic order. We are not servants of the cosmos. We are the sculptures of our reality. So this story of Cain and Abel hides a lot of profound universal truths. Unfortunately, they are found in the Bible. Like in Genesis 4:7, there are too many false layers, as Cordovero has already indicated, where one has to peel off each layer meticulously. It is time that you enroll into the Bantu Melanin University to train in the sacred science of conscious alignment, to master ancient techniques of ritual breath, as well as stillness, to reclaim your power as a field navigator. A human being designed to collapse chaos into order. Apply today, enroll today to begin the rituals and to become the observer. Evil doesn't wait, neither does awakening. So, thank you very much for subscribing to Hamid Hebrew Ethics on YouTube channel. Like, share, and comment. It's nice to meet you. May the gods protect, deliver, and sustain and support. For more information, send us an email. And if you want to enroll, go to our website, which is indicated on the screen now. And let us walk this journey together. Stay well, stay cool, never be afraid. Remember, you are the sculptor and the originator of your own reality. Sin is you collapsing the wave into negativity instead of positivity, into Isfet instead of Mahati. I hope Cain and Abel, especially Cain's lessons, will resonate with you. Amen. 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 Ra.